Hello guys, so I'm just coming back from work. I'm relaxing right now. This week I'm having morning shift and I'm very happy about it because the best part of having the morning shift is that I have 2 days free. So Saturday and Sunday I'm free. If I'm working after afternoon shift, then I work up to Saturday, so I only have a Sunday free. Yeah, so guys, I decided to make a video about the cost of living in Germany. Maybe you are there and you're planning to visit Germany, you have a dream of coming here. You would have at least a little idea of what to expect and what not to expect. For me, when I was planning to come, I was like, let me tell you something, and I'm going to be very honest about this, and everybody knows this, especially if you're not coming from Europe, or maybe especially if you're not coming from Germany. The people who are coming from outside, or the people who are living outside Germany, at least especially in African countries, this when we are back in these countries of ours and we have a dream like going to Europe or going maybe to any other country outside our country, not African countries, but at least coming to Germany, going to Austria, Australia, USA, Canada, UK, those countries. When we think of going there, we are thinking like making it big. For us, we are like, we are going to make it. We are like, oh, there is no problem there. We are like, we are going to be earning a lot of money, but we don't have an idea of how much that money is there. You are not, you don't, you, let me speak on my own self. Like when I was planning, or when I started the dream of coming here, I said, and I've shared it also on other videos, like for me, I wanted to come here through work. And I thank God that He did not allow me to come here through work. He made another way for me to come here, because life is not that easy as we think when we are back in Kenya or when we are back in our own countries. For me, I was like, when I go there, I will work. I will do 1, 2, 3 jobs. You plan, You're like, there are jobs there. And the stories like you get maybe from from others, you're like, it's like those people, they don't like working, they don't like to work. So when I get there, I will find job and I will be working. I will have more than one job. I'll have 2, 3 jobs. That's the mentality we have. And you're like, I have to work and I will earn and I will be rich. Now, when you step your legs here, when you step here, I'm sorry if I used it, if you felt bad. As when now you come here, now the reality comes. You face the reality and you're like, it's not what I expected. Because when you're back there and like, let's say you ask someone who is living in these countries for like 2,000 euro, 2,000 shillings, and this person tells you they don't have, you're like, huh? They are very selfish. He just refused, or she just refused to give me the money. I'm sure they have. It's not like that. Come here and face the reality, and now you will understand why the people are not just so easy to give it out, because even that little you have, it's not enough for yourself. Yeah, you get your salary and you divide it, and at the end of the day, if you're only depending on that salary, then you find that it's very difficult. Things are not so easy. Even not only to the outsiders, not only to the people who are traveling here, you find themselves who have been born here, they are also trying very hard to survive, especially when they just came. They are different. the life also in Europe, it's just like life in any other country, because you find there are people who are well off, there are middle class people, and there are the poorest people, and every person is trying to survive. The only difference, when you are here, at least you can't tell who is rich and who is poor. They all look the same. Come to Africa, you'll tell this one is very rich, you'll tell this one at least can survive, and you tell that one is trying hard to survive. You will differentiate between the one who is top rich, the middle, and the lowest. You'll have to you can differentiate, but here you can't tell who is rich, because first, if you meet someone, everyone, it's not writing on their faces. Also, I'm not saying that in Africa they write, but you can tell by just looking the person. This one is really suffering, this one is going through a hard time. So the housing, like if you pay a 2-bedroom house here, 1,500 euro, if you convert this money into Kenyan shillings, you'll get like 200,000 Kenyan shillings according to the exchange rate. You can even get more than that. The euro, when you convert it into Kenyan money, is good. Now, when you have this money and you go do something in Kenya, you will have a lot of money. But when you come here, you find that this money, it's nothing. Because like you may having a rent which you pay 1,000 euro. So if you are getting like 1,500, now that's the salary after all the deductions. You are getting like 1,500 euro per month, and you have to pay a house which is costing you 1,000 euro. You've not paid electricity, you've not paid other costs, you've not paid for the water, for the internet, you've not paid all those things. Now you find yourself maybe trying to look for a job, and working here in Germany, like you are not allowed to work more than 3 jobs, and also more than 2 jobs, and these 2 jobs that you are working, you have to do, like, one has to be full-time. This one you'll be deducted taxes and everything else, and then the other one, you are supposed to get maximum 540 euro. If you pass through that amount, then you also have to be deducted. And if you have to be deducted, also deduction of the money depends also on the tax class that you are in. There are people, if you are in class 3, then you are lucky. If you are in class 5, I'm sorry for you. If you are in class 1, also I'm sorry for you. At least class 3 and class 2, they are a little better. Class 3 is the best. That the class 3, it's found by the people, maybe you are married and the person who is earning higher then has to get the class 3. Then there is class 4, and 4 you are deducted like equally. The equal deductions, so at least you'll get something, but the person who is getting more salary then will be disadvantaged. So yeah, the cost of living about as of the renting of houses, it's very expensive, especially in Munich. I don't know about other parts because I've never been there, but I would say even if they are not that expensive, they are not also that cheap. They are not that cheap. And also, like, let's say you are living in the villages. If you find a house in the village, better for you. Those ones, if you like living in villages, then at least there I would say also the rental, it's not so high. But then there is also disadvantage of the means of transport. You find the means of transport are not so many like when you are living inside the city. Here in Munich, like if I walk 5 minutes there, I will find a bus. If I walk some 5 minutes on the other direction, then there is a underground. If I also walk 10 minutes like somewhere up there, I'll also find another tram, and another side there I will also find you find the means of transport there everywhere. Just some few minutes and you are there. You get to a bus, you get to a tram, you get to a train. Yes, it's very cheap. in terms of means of transport. In the villages, then you have to walk maybe some distance to find a bus or a train, and also they come with maybe there can be also some delays, especially if you have to go to a working place which is a little far from where you are living, and also the working time also. If maybe like you are living in a faraway village, like 1 hour from the part where you are working in, so that means you need to wake up 1 hour earlier. So because you need like 2 hours before you get to your working place. There is also advantage of living in the city, but also the disadvantage is the expensiveness when it comes to renting of houses. They are very, very expensive. Now, talking of renting and buying a house also, it's very expensive. To afford one, I guess, like if I would want to buy a 2-bedroom house, then I need more than 1 million euro. How many years will I how many years will I save to get that amount? It's very tough. If I'm working, like now I'm in Germany, it's easier for me to invest back in Kenya, because once I convert my euro into Kenyan shillings, I find myself I'm rich there, but here I'm poor. Yeah, so if you are working, if you are living in Germany and you're from Africa, like Nigeria, like Kenya or any other country, I would say let us invest back in Kenya. Try to do something for yourself back in Kenya. Otherwise, life here, it's not so easy as you think. And the best part, like if you build yourself a house in Kenya or a house from where you are living, if you decide maybe let me go for a holiday, at least you have a space to stay in. You don't need also to pay for a hotel or something like that. Yes, so guys, that's one of the cost of living. That's all about the cost of living in Germany, especially when it comes to renting of houses. Or maybe if you want to buy a house, it's also not so easy. It's cheap. It's not cheap. It's very expensive, but we are surviving. If you're planning to come here, at least you have an idea of what to expect. If you'll be living alone, if you want to stay alone, you know what to expect and what not to expect. I hear also there are other small houses that they cost, I don't know, something like 450. They call it, this one we call it a bed sitter back in Kenya, which costs 70 euro. And it's just a small room where you have your bed there, you have a kitchen there, you have your toilet there. It's just a small place where you can manage yourself. Yeah, but yeah, all in all, we are surviving. We thank God for everything. Yeah, it's all about that's all about today's video. If you have a question, you have anything to ask, you have to comment, just write it down below, and I'll be happy to read your comments, guys. Thank you so much, and yes, be happy.